This is me, and this is Nutmeg. And we're good, right? Yeah. Had to get it right. I was on the wrong side of the nutmeg. Welcome everyone into the Nutmeg Tavern. We are live. I'm your host, John Townsend, and we're going to be talking about fun, verminous 18th century stuff today. I am not the only person here in the Nutmeg Tavern, but the rest of the people you can't see, and some of them are far, far away from me. Lauren is in the chat.
Hello.
And Will, not Ivy, is on the console, and he's there trying to make the audio work. Hopefully you can hear me, right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, good enough. Close enough. Look at that. I think that's where it belongs. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
Okay, so vermin. You know, a lot of things end up being classified under vermin, depending on who you are. What was somebody saying? What was considered verminous? Kingfishers.
Oh, I was reading that in a list.
Okay.
It was sad to see. I love kingfishers, but they were eating the fish, so
Yeah,
that was...
exactly. So apparently, if it eats anything that you might eat or are interested in or might trip on, whatever, it's vermin, right? So I've got the universal vermin killer here. There are a lot of books. They were concerned with vermin in the 18th century, and as we all are, right? We don't think about it nearly as much. I mean, obviously, I live in the country. I live in a house in the woods, and that means that we have vermin that we have to battle. And but that's usually something like mice, right? But what's going on here? Anyway, but they had lots of vermin, and it's interesting. So if the vermin book is written by somebody who's, say, a hunter, or somebody who's taking care of a game park or whatever, then they have a different set of vermin compared to maybe a farmer or a home keeper, somebody who has a house in the city. And the lists of vermin, therefore, kind of vary, right? And let's see if I have this. Okay, so this one is the Universal Directory for taking alive and destroying rats and all other kinds of four-footed and winged vermin. And this is the list, sort of like the table of contents. The fox, the otter, the badger, the sheep-killing dog, wildcat, marten cat, polecat, stoat, weasel, ferret, hedgehog, Norway rat, black rat, water rat, the squirrel, mole, house mouse, field mouse, the red shrew mouse, the black shrew mouse, grass mouse, dormouse, the bat, the large eagle buzzard, the gray bobbed-tailed buzzard or puttock, the large forked-tailed kite, the large blue something kite, the large brown ring-tailed hawk, small ring-tailed hawk, the sparrowhawk, the black-tailed sparrowhawk, the wind hover hawk, the brown wood owl, the screech owl, the horned owl, the fern owl, the raven, the carrion crow, and the magpie. That's what's in this, right? As in, like, about 97% of that we wouldn't call vermin, right?
Well, so, Maggie's saying the hedgehog, right?
Right,
That's
the hedgehog,
like,
what? You know,
poor innocent hedgehog.
Right, so, I mean, obviously, you know, we might see something of the rats, okay?
Yes.
Those are vermin. And anybody who lives with a whole bunch of squirrels, it's probably right up there. the tree rat, as we call them. The house mouse, you know, a couple of mice. But the vast majority of the rest of this, I mean, obviously we don't call owls vermin or hawks or any of that. And you certainly aren't allowed to kill them anymore where we live. But they are totally up for grabs in 18th century England and undoubtedly North America. This one, the Universal Vermin Killer, which is the one I'm going to be mostly working out of, I think has a little bit more realistic set. Now, it still includes hawks and things like that, but not to any great extent. Not the same way. And you can tell by where they start in the book. So in this book, they start off with the fox, and they move right into, like the otter. It's like, what are you talking about? Killing otters, right? This one, it's much more realistic about what we would think of. It starts off with rats and then goes to mice. It does do foxes, sheep killing dogs, badgers, moles, polecats, wildcats, weasels, stoats, hedgehogs, and otters. And then the second part, much more likely that we are definitely going to be in this category. We're going to be talking about bugs, fleas, lice, caterpillars. Where they come up with frogs, I don't know. Frogs, green bugs. I don't know how green bugs different from bugs, but green bugs, spiders. A lot of people would like to get rid of spiders in their life. Caleb especially, right? Spiders, flies, earwigs, pismires, which I'm not, some kind of bug, snails, insects, again, grasshoppers, gnats, hornets, wasps, worms, and they're not talking about earthworms, beetles, moths, and then at the very end, kites, ravens, crows. So, this is much more realistic. We're going to have a lot of these things in our lives. We're not going to have to worry. Even if we lived where hedgehogs lived, we're not going to be like, I got to get rid of my hedgehogs. Maybe our moles, yes, but not our hedgehogs, right? And sometimes they even have a listing. They'll say something like, I think even this book, it'll talk about shrews, and it'll say, some people are scared of shrews, but they're not, they're not really anything we need to worry about. And so they're listed in this book, but it was like, what? And
no real reason to go after
right.
them to
and even the hedgehog reading is very short. It's like, yeah, you can get rid of hedgehogs, but, and spiders. You can get rid of your hedgehogs, but really their only thing is they snuffle up the ground when they're trying to get at roots or something. It's like, it's not. I'm not gonna be real concerned about getting rid of your hedgehogs. Now my question is, and this is the perfect live stream, what's been the scariest vermin story that you've got? You can pop into the chat and tell us about your vermin troubles. This is a place for you to vent your spleen and tell us about your vermin stories. There's a vermin story that goes way back in my family. And I think it was before I was born. Can't remember. It could have been me. Anyway, at one point, we lived in an old farmhouse when I grew up, very old farmhouse, with fields around us. And of course, that is a problem. And there apparently was oh gosh, it reminds me of this. Anyway, I got to show it to you. Anyway, there was one of us, Cindy or myself, was a baby in a crib, and we had apparently rats at the time in the house, and the rats had come up and chewed on. There was like a baby bottle in the crib, and the rats had chewed the nipple off the baby bottle. Oh. It's the most disgusting idea ever. Anyway,
let's say it happened to Cindy.
Luckily, my mother is not listening to this live stream, so she won't be mad at me for telling that story. All the people that are concerned are not listening.
Yes, I hope that you were not involved. You weren't there yet.
I can't remember if I was the baby or whether Cindy was. Anyway, actually, I think I could be reading into that, so I'm not going to tell more of that story. So number one on this list here, we start off in this book, and it's Norway rats. And Norway rats basically drove out as he calls them here someplace, the field rat. In fact, the way he talks about it is something like, where is it? He says something like, oh, it's the wonderful rat that we always had, Yeah, here we go. The common rat, which is the old, genuine English house rat, is of a dusky brownish color, almost black. Its tail is composed of at least 160 rings. Their propagation has been considerably diminished by the bad Norway rats, as the latter devour and banish them whenever they meet. Still, they are to be found under ridge tiles and behind rafters, etc., in places they frequent, are easily discovered by the blackness of their tracks and the smell they leave behind. The wonderful smell. But this one, the next one, so it covers the Norway, it covers the field rat, not of any great concern compared to the other ones. The water rat, which I don't think they mean muskrats, but they could mean that.
They might.
Or something similar to that. The common rat, which is what I just mentioned. And then there's this one. Besides these, there's a rat which sometimes resorts to dwelling houses, called the bloody rat, which has 2 claws on its feet instead of 1. These rats frequent churchyards and prey upon corpses They've also been known, when in dwelling houses, to seize people in their beds and to murder children. If distressed for food, they will eat clothes and curtains and hangings of beds, etc., etc. I don't know what the modern terminology for the bloody rat is, or whether that's just any rat that goes crazy and does those things. Maybe that's the bloody rat. What do you think, Will?
It sounds like you need like a specialized warrior to deal with.
Yeah,
that kind of
it's
thing,
like call in the bloody rat exterminator.
He's got like 6 muskets that he just has,
So, I mean, he spends the most in any book, in this entire book, on how to catch and get rid of the Norway rat.
Because they're trouble.
They are.
Rats are horrible.
They're very
trouble.
smart. They're very troublesome. They're very tricksy. They learn what's going on. And 250 years ago, they were hard to get rid of, and they've only gotten smarter. So, there's that. I mean, can you imagine dealing with them with the tools that they had? Now, they had this plant called, seems like he uses it here for everyone. It's called Nutmeg, which is a plant where they get strychnine, right? So they used basically strychnine poison to get rid of these rats. But he says, I don't know if I can find it. So, in fact, let's pop into a couple of pictures real quick so we can see. Huh?
It's ready to go.
Cool. Let's go. I can't do it. I got this cool thing. Okay. Bugs. This is an advertisement. Whereas I have for several years, with success, made it my business to destroy those nauseous vermin called bugs at a reasonable price, blah, 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 blah. So if you want the bugs to, I don't know, what do you think kind of bugs that those are in that picture?
I imagine they were bed bugs because they kind of look like, to me, the picture looks like a bed bug.
Yeah.
But it could be a different kind of bug.
Yeah.
Flea, but
Yeah. Anyway, bugs. There are lots of newspaper advertisements for getting rid of your bugs here. We will talk about later on, if we get to it, the concept of fleas and lice and other kinds of things. And they had, yes, combs just for that purpose. This one's a horn comb. Luckily, our horn combs have nice wide teeth. They're just for hair.
Not for life.
Not for lodgings to be let. during the summer season, if you'd like to, and look at that. They got pleasant weather, it's healthy, vegetables in the garden, milk, the house is new and clear from bugs.
Okay, look, this advertisement made me want to go visit. Like, I thought
Right.
they did a great job with their advertising.
Did a good job. It's probably on Airbnb right now.
Right.
Anyway, that's what you should put in your Airbnb ads. Clear of bugs.
It's a great selling point.
Here we go. This is what I was thinking of. The reason why I popped into the slides. And that is, we will have this, and notice how they basically are copying each other here. The rat catcher. And he goes around advertising his thing. Sometimes the rat catcher will have like a coat of rat hides. He will
Good advertisement.
He will frequently have a cage, or always have a cage with a live rat. Now notice the one here, the Rembrandt styled one. Here he's got one on his shoulder. He's got a tame rat. But he has live rats around, so people, I think it's to disgust people. It's like they see that, it's like, yeah, if I got one of those, I really want it gone, right? And notice he's got all these traps. He's got, and he will talk about catching the rats. He wants to catch them in traps because while he could poison them, you don't want a poisoned rat in your house. You just don't want it. Number one, it can act strangely, and he talks about this in the book, right? So it's like, well, they'll eat the poison, and then they'll get really, really thirsty, and then they'll attack somebody with a drink, right? And you don't want that. And you don't want the rat to die someplace where you can't get rid of it. So you want to catch the rat in a trap. And he's got different kinds of traps, and you'll trick those rats with different things. He'll bait. He talks about the baiting of the traps, but being a rat catcher is probably a kind of a profitable thing to do. I don't know.
It did seem like it was. You had to be pretty skillful to do it, but
it's like a lowly job. Right?
That's
So it
also
probably
true.
pays well in some ways for the right kind of person, and somebody you're never going to get like high up in society being a rat catcher.
But you're also not high up in society, so there's perks
maybe-
to that too.
Maybe the bonus, huh? Right. So it depends on who you want to be, but the rat catcher. So it won't let me jump out. You'll have to send me back to the main camera there. There we go. So there's the rat catcher with the traps, and yes, he can poison them. And he spends all his time. They're wire cages, they're wooden traps, they're traps that'll kill them when they go in there, or traps that they're alive in there, right? And then, he'll talk about the actual construction. He's not going to give you plans, but he'll talk you through the trap. It's like, well, you take 3 boards, 2 feet, 2 inches long. It's like, okay, he's going to explain the whole. I always like the books in the 18th century that, since illustrations were hard to do, they would just start giving you the description about how to do it. And it had to be, it's like a recipe book without, same thing here. So when you have, here we go, how to scent the traps. So you put feed in them, but that is only going to get you so far. Sometimes, but because Norway rats are really, really smart. It's like you could put feed in them. So you would put food in the trap, but you wouldn't set the trap. And you let that happen for 2, 3, 4 days. And they would do that with foxes too. If they're trying to catch a fox, it's like, no, you don't set the trap. You get them used to it, because they'll get really close to it the first day, but they won't get, and then the second day they'll get closer, and the third day, and then, by the 4th or 5th day, they don't care. They know nothing's going to happen. That's when you set the trap. But here he says, when you have set all your traps to work, you must scent them in this manner. Take 20 drops of the oil of rhodium, which is probably a plant. I don't think it's the metal. You might want to check that rhodium plant. 6 or 7 grains of musk, half an ounce of the oil of aniseed, and that's, that licorice smell is very common as an attractant. And you put them in a small phial for use. Before you set the traps, shake this well together and center traps as follows. Take a little piece of paper, dip it in the bottle, rub it on each end of the trap, blah, 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 blah. So you're setting the trap by scenting it. And that's one of the more, even today, some mouse lures basically are, doing a scent thing.
Yeah, it looks like rhodium is from rhodium wood. And you can use it to attract muskrat, raccoon, and beaver.
Uh-huh. And Norway rats, apparently.
And rats.
All right. And here they're talking about preparing the food or feed, flour, treacle, caraway, put them in a bowl, mix it all up together, and then put a pound of the crumb of bread into it, for they like the bread mixed with their feed better than the feed alone. It's like, okay. He talks about the wire cages. And there was one section where, how to destroy them without a trap. As these rats frequently come where no traps can be conveniently set, you may mix the food with Nux vomica, which has got the strychnine in it. But then it says, you should never poison rats in a house except in case of absolute necessity. And he goes on to explain that. Yes, and they bad things happen. Bad things happen. And then I wanted to do one last little thing about the oil of rat, which was so disgusting that some people said I shouldn't do it, but
Brace yourself, people.
Brace yourself. If you're weak of stomach or heart, just turn down the sound for a minute. How to draw oil from rats. You skin them and you take out the guts and the gall. You leave the liver. And when you've got a sufficient quantity of rats, put them in an earthen jar and tie a sheet of paper or bladder over it, and then put it into a hot oven. It must be a typo. Put it into a hot mixin is what it says. This is like you would do a jugged hare in a time period. I'm just saying. Anyway, and you let it stand until they are dissolved. The oil will swim to the top, and you take it off with a spoon and you put it into a small phial and preserve this till you want it. This is what the rats are very fond of, and it may draw them where you please by it. So it's a kind of a rat oil lure. Why rats would be lured by the oil of rat, I don't know.
They're inherently cannibalistic.
Well, he talks about that. He does. He talks about that. And
someone was asking if there were any rat or squirrel recipes. I guess this counts.
it's like, yeah, it's...
But not for me.
Then he talks about mice and the idea that the mouse trap is basically a miniature rat trap of the time period. And, we saw in the pictures of the traps that that classic wooden box kind of trap. Sometimes it's just like the box with the stick, or
it's like the basic version number 1.
I do remember. I think Dan came up with it. We caught mice in our kitchen with we had a popcorn popper which had a clear dome lid. We used that with a toothpick and a string from across the room.
A little bit of popcorn.
No, it was apple salad was their thing. Yeah,
Yep.
Apple smeared with that stuff,
Yep.
and you set that.
They can't resist.
Oh, the joys of childhood. Oh, another field mouse is called the great long-tailed mouse. Reminds me of the long-tailed hamster in this one show. Anyway. Yeah, he's basically getting rid of mice exactly the same way. It should be like mice, ditto.
Right,
know?
but like no, they're much less
But
tricksy, right?
3 pages later, we're gonna
Yes, he doesn't want to,
Right, we wouldn't want the book to be too short. So, I mean, here we go. Unslaked lime and oatmeal mixed together will destroy them. So this unslaked lime will basically turn to concrete in their guts.
Okay, you got to pause and grate some nutmeg to let people know it's okay to go back to turn the volume back up again.
Oh yeah.
After that.
I don't know where
And on that subject, Max Arkle sends in a super chat and he says, "Bit of a palate cleanser. Wanted to pass along that my Townsend's chocolate mint tea arrived, and I'm enjoying it today. It's great."
Tell you what, I'm loving on that tea. Unfortunately, what happened was they packaged it all up, and now I have to go to my second choice until our new supply of chocolate mint tea comes in.
It's okay. There's more on the way. It shouldn't be long.
It sounds like we will have a selection of special holiday teas available. So get ready for that. And other fun stuff on the website. In fact, we're pretty much halfway there. Let me find that list of names someplace. I mean, I had it, and then whatever. My life is like this, guys. Somebody keeps moving my stuff. Any plans on making a video on early American hard cider? Did Americans prefer it over beer, and what is its historical significance in the United States? Yes and no. Okay, it's a yes. Is we want to do a cider episode, and it's not. It's one of those, you got to prepare for like 6 weeks and all that good stuff. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to get it done this season or not. I would love to. And hard cider is incredibly important, not only in North America and in Great Britain, and probably even more important in America than it is in Great Britain, because beer is not quite as popular. And I think it had to do with growing barley here, maybe not as easy or just wasn't as common, and so cider is, having apples and doing cider is really easy. I mean, basically you squeeze it and then it does its thing. It's like, well, look, I've got cider. Turns into its own alcohol kind of. So yes, great topic, and I hope to do it. New and renewing YouTube members, and some of these guys have been members for like a gazillion years. So there's Mel in AZ, Arizona, and Canna, and then Karen Bloom. She's been here for 52 months. That's a long time, people. Thank you for being a member that long. Hey, Cool It, Martin Ringus. Then there's, he's brand new. Spencer Watkins is new. Jaina C.H., Luke Cole, and then Renee Shepard, Jessica Ristoff, Bro Mayo, and a little bit of whimsy. So those are all new folks too. So wow, super thank you for being members here on the channel. I hope you're having a lot of fun with your cool emojis. Wait, I need to see more cool emojis, guys. Come on, emoji it up here.
Surely there are
You've
more.
You've got the crazy emojis. Although I don't know if we have. I think we got a bug emoji, don't we?
I would hope. Maybe we need to add one. I feel like
that, like from
Yeah,
the
right?
bugs ad,
Yes.
Just a rat with your face on it.
Hey,
Yeah.
that wasn't nice. That wasn't nice. So, do we have any fun vermin stories? I mean, I told mine.
I wasn't storing the vermin stories, but I do have a question. And somebody was wondering what the least favorite or the most difficult vermin to deal with was?
Well, I mean, it's at the top of the list for a reason. Norway rats are going to be like the peak of
Well,
that
I
sort of
was
thing.
thinking the rats, but then I'm like, that mink was really hard.
Well, yeah, but I think it's the commonality,
Oh yeah.
right?
Well, I was just wondering personally what
Right,
animal was the
right.
hardest to track down.
Yeah,
I thought that mink might have.
We did have a mink that can't. There you go. There's speed and stop.
Mm-hmm.
He is making it happen. We did have a mink that basically killed every one of our chickens in a single night and got trapped in the chicken house. So we got him. Right? I may have set a trap. I had to set a
No,
trap.
you had to trap him.
I had to set a trap for him.
It took quite a bit. Like he
Right.
was very wily
Yeah.
and able to fit through spaces you wouldn't have thought an animal of that size
And
could.
once he was in the trap, he looked like he was going to break out, and it was a strong trap. So they are crazy.
Now, somebody did say something. He said, I remember this one. He said his friend brought him slippers from Nicaragua that were made out of rat. And he is still a little disturbed by that to this day.
Now I had an old history book. I loved old history books, especially like the early part of the 20th century, and it said that the Huns wore coats of rat skin. I don't actually believe it. I think that
Maybe it was a
whoever
mistranslation. Maybe it was a different.
exactly. It's like
They must have had some drying rats.
You know what we really know about the Huns? Not that much. Anyway, somebody was just making some stuff up. I'm sure that they could make their coats out of something more useful or something more warming or bigger than a rat. Maybe they have really big rats.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Unless their rats were just that big.
Wow, that's a rat. You can mix. Okay. You can mix filings of iron or steel with a stiff paste of wheat and barley meal, honey, or mead, and they will be destroyed when they eat it. Or hog's lard mixed with the brains of a weasel. Again, this is like, is this some kind of potion or something? I need the brains of weasel and oil of rat, and give me 4 frog's eyes. If oak ashes are put into their holes, they will run amongst them, by which means they get the scab, and of which they will die. I don't think so. No, some of this is fake. Good cats in a house will always keep these vermin under, unless you have the kind of cats that we have. It's like, look, a mouse. Look at that.
Did you see that?
Did you see that? What are you going to do about that?
You have one job.
Yeah, you had one job, and it's not to eat cat food all day long and sleep.
I'm not sure that hasn't been a perennial problem, because you do hear people refer to cats as, you're like, see, that cat is a good mouser.
Right.
And they will specifically say that.
I think if you feed a cat too much,
Well,
they're obviously. It's
There
like,
is that.
Yeah? What? Like Winnie. Bowling ball cat is what I would call that cat. How to preserve corn from rats and mice. It's too complicated, but they do talk about the way you build your granaries so that they can't climb up the posts, right? So you can do different things about putting them in pots of water or XYZ or whatever. Although Norway rats can swim and dance and do everything else, I think ice skate, so none of that's going to help
Pick
you.
locks, they're really.
Yeah, they are tricksy. They spend a good deal of time worrying about foxes, and mostly because they will get into your chickens, and they will get into your rabbits and other things like that. And they are very smart also. So they spend a large amount of time talking about foxes. They will talk about badgers and otters. So there's a whole section on sheep killing dogs. And unfortunately, Whitney's parents had a dog that got into their sheep, and he just saw that, went nuts, and there's not much you can do about that. You're not going to train a dog to once they've started doing that, you can't really train it out of them. So that's the end of that. We were very fortunate to be able to be there and train Sophie with the chickens. She does not pay attention to
She
chickens.
did start out wanting to. She was very interested in them at first, but she's very kind of naturally obedient. And after a while, just paying attention, she realized, you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to chase those birds.
Right, and there's some shepherd in there, so she's just, there's some, I'll try to round them up for you, Of course, she take a nip at them, just because.
I just want to tell you, Vincent, I see your Redwall reference, and I appreciate it.
There we go. Badgers are listed in here, and they're really it's like, resembles both a pig and a dog. It's not very nice, was it? The main thing that he doesn't like about badgers, or they didn't care for badgers, is because they would make holes that foxes could live in. So it was I don't know if they really had a big issue with badgers other than that. It's like, well, they make holes. Like we don't like groundhogs. Well, they'll make big holes.
Well, yes, farmers sure don't like groundhogs.
That's right. And they love eating nice beans all day long. Moles, and they spend a lot of time talking about moles. How to destroy and banish moles. As it would be an endless piece of work for a farmer to take moles upon his outside land in common fields, the following methods are recommended. Take 2 or 3 heads of onions, leeks, or garlic, thrust into their holes, and will cause them to run out as if stupefied, when they may be easily caught by a dog or struck by a spear. How big are these moles?
I love the word stupefied.
Anyway, somehow I don't really think that putting some onions in their hole is really going to work, but you tell me. If you've...
Yeah, perhaps, because some of the animals, we wouldn't have experience with. I've never tried to get rid of a hedgehog, mostly because they're cute,
moles.
but also because we don't have any.
Yes, these are moles. They're not hedgehogs.
Which we do have moles around here.
Polecats, which, I've never done a whole bunch of studying on polecats. So, I don't think that they don't mean the American skunk here. I think they mean something else, like weaselly. Wildcats, and wildcats are listed here as basically feral cats, is what they mean, and they're a problem. They're a problem. Stoats, like weasels and stoats and whatnot. The hedgehog greatly resembles the porcupine, though in miniature, his body being armed and fortified all over with small, sharp-pointed quills, which is an admirable defense for him against his enemies. Their chief food consists of acorns, crab apples, and roots being grubbed up, in which the latter they considerably damage the ground. Really? Anyway, you can catch them. Otters. It's hard for us to believe that, people would be mad at otters. I know. They're like the cutest thing on the planet. I don't know how, it's like, if you can kill a baby otter, you're not human. But finally, we get to part 2, the winged and creeping vermin. And then it starts off with bugs. Some attribute the generation of these obnoxious vermin to wood as bedsteads, like they just come out of it. They just, if you've got a bed made of wood, then bugs are going to come out of it. I don't think so. Sorry, that's not how it works. In Ireland, a bug is a rarity, and in various parts of England at present are not infected with them. Now, it could mean that they're talking about bed bugs here. Soon after the fire of London, they were observed to appear in some of the new-built houses and were never noted to have been seen in the old. So maybe the fire brought them? They're still science, okay? They're still working on it, right? This was the flies come out of dead meat kind of, concept here. It's like, well, bed bugs come out of the wood of your bed.
Mm-hmm. That's where they come from.
How they're getting rid of them? Oh yeah, I'll see. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it talks about blood, them liking blood. So I think that's exactly what they're talking about here. To destroy them, take herb Robert, cornmint, wood spurge, and fly mushroom. None of these I've ever heard of before. Sometimes I think they just make these up. They don't actually have that stuff. It's just like the author wants to have a solution. Well, take bloodworm, the blue, not the red, and there is no such thing. Anyway, you take a large handful and you boil all that in 5 pints of water until it's reduced to 2 quarts, and you strain it off, and then you add 2 Now here's the answer. Then add 2 ounces of the corrosive sublimate of mercury. Well,
there you go.
I don't even think we needed the first part.
I was half expecting him just to say, jump on the bed 10 times a week.
1 ounce of crude ammoniac, salt of ammonia. This liquor, when used, must first be heated and put into a glass bottle, and then you set it in a saucepan of water on the fire. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you have these giant directions so that if you're wrong in one step, they go, see,
I was
you
thinking
didn't do it
that
right.
too, because you know how hard bed bugs are to get rid of. You're
That's
like,
right.
well, it's because you didn't heat the water to the right.
And you forgot the fly mushrooms.
Well, how did I know they were fly mushrooms? 'Cause they fly, duh!
If any bugs appear on your furniture of the bed, use the following composition. Blah blah blah. More mercury. That'll solve it. Here's one. Spread gunpowder, beaten small, about the crevices of your bedstead. Light it with a match and keep the smoke in. Do this for an hour or more and keep the room close for several hours. Or sprigs of fern laid on the boards will kill them. So I like that. So it's like you could spread gunpowder all over your room and light it. Or I've got a fern here that'll work. Which one? Which one should I choose? Let's go with the gunpowder.
You want to pull up? There's a slide for this one. You want to pull it up?
Okay, slide for gunpowder. Bring me up the slides. There's the glass mouse, rat.
I think he is a rat.
There's the cats eating mice. There's a bunch of still lives, and they will have mice or bugs in them. It's like they wanted to have something animate, and so they chose vermin. I don't know why. Here are the different footprints of different sorts of weasels and martens.
Oh, somebody was saying that polecats are
A marten, kind of a
wild ferret.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I thought. So rabbits, again, for some people, rabbits are the good thing, and other people, rabbits are the bad thing, right? Sleep rabbits, yeah, sure bed. There's the owl and rats and a cat. We're not sure why the cat has its ears down like that.
Maybe it too is a little worried about that owl.
Maybe. Bugs of various sorts. More bugs, and notice the frog there. We'll talk about frogs later if I have time. There's the carrion crow, the bug, the louse, the caterpillar, the flea, the mole, the otter, the polecat. There he is, the polecat. He looks like somebody from a cartoon. Mosquitoes, if you look closely in the text there. Is it there?
No, that's
Oh, it isn't.
from a different spot.
Well, it does say MUSQUITOES.
Oh, is this, does it?
Yeah. Here we go. Tuesday last, a poor woman in wherever, Cold Town, the furniture of whole house was plagued with bugs, thought of burning out the vermin, but set her house on fire and much endangered the whole neighborhood. Probably trying out this this gunpowder trick.
Right? Instead, she probably didn't have any ferns, so she's
Right.
like, well.
It's like, I got gunpowder though, and then darn it, caught the house on fire. Dope.
When it comes to bugs, can you really blame her? I mean,
Right.
probably drove her crazy.
And probably house didn't have bugs after that.
Oh, that problem.
Of course, it was all burned down, but bugs were not your problem. You want to bring it back to me? Thank you. Don't know. Apparently, I've got to update something now. Mix the juice of wild cucumbers with good tar, stirring it for 2 days, 5 times each day. It's like you couldn't do it for 3 days and you couldn't stir it 3 times. No.
And make sure it's the good tar.
Yeah. And use good tar. And then rub it well on the bedstead. So if you put that on the bedstead, I imagine just the tar on the bedstead would work just fine, but they want to use the juice of wild cucumbers also. And I'm not sure what wild cucumbers, look at that. Fly mushrooms are the red ones with white dots.
Oh, well, they would be exactly what you'd want to use in something like that.
So tell me about wild cucumbers. What do you think?
Wild cucumbers.
You can also take white wine vinegar mixed with the powder of squills.
Well, wild cucumbers, there they are. They're the little kind of spiky ones. They're
Okay.
native to North America.
Ah.
You don't eat them.
Huh. Well, there you go.
They're related, but they're more toxic, right? So don't eat those
because cucumbers are toxic. You just don't know it. I know because whenever I eat them. Anyway, that's why I don't eat them. What? Okay, we're still on bugs. It says they have been killed by the guts of rabbits boiled in water and placed under the bed. I don't think so. Ox gall mixed with vinegar and the dregs of oil. Okay. Powdered brimstone, so sulfur, that makes sense. Rub your bedstead with vinegar and glue boiled together. It's a sure destroyer of bugs. They've got lots of answers. Now, if there was one answer, there would be one answer, right? Why does he have 20 recipes for things? This will kill him.
Suspicious.
This might kill him. That might kill him. Something else might kill him. In other words, he doesn't have a clue. He's grasping at straws.
So have we covered fleas yet?
There they are.
Okay.
What do you want me to say about fleas?
Well, do they have a good flea? The water traps did, we still use water traps for fleas.
Methods of destroying them. Get ready. Sprinkle your bedclothes with lavender and wormwood and mercury. No. Sprinkle your bedclothes with lavender and wormwood, boiled thoroughly in vinegar, and lay winter savory in your bedchamber, which will destroy them. Put under the bed a bag with holes in it, filled with wormwood, thoroughly dried, or use flea wort in the same manner. Or you may kill them by putting under the bed or pillow nut leaves wormwood, Averon, green coriander, and lavender. Or, it just keeps doing the same thing. Goat's milk and lye sprinkled about the room, which sounds like it would get stinky. It was deemed an infallible remedy in ancient times, but not so much in modern times. Strew unslaked lime in your bedchamber. Pennyroyal, also wrapped in a cloth and laid in under your bread, will drive fleas away. Put it in fresh once every 7 or 8 days. Or boiled mustard seed in water, or elder leaves. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not sure. Elderberry,
I
something.
it was, from the same.
Or March fleabane, burnt in the chamber. But they haven't so far gone to gunpowder. This one is interesting. Provide yourself with an earthen pot and cut a hole in the floor so large that the pot may stand in it with the mouth even with the floor. Then put in bruised laurel leaves and rose leaves, and the fleas will go into the pot. Yes, you got to cut a hole in your floor, but I'd rather have a hole in my floor than fleas.
How many of these do you think you try, before you try the gunpowder method?
Right.
But
10,
finally.
15?
But, we have water traps today. People have water traps. I don't know that they ever work, but...
Well, you get some of them.
Yeah. I caught 3 out of 3 million. Good luck. Lay lavender, rue, southernwood, wormwood, savory, flea seed, and walnut leaves, all or any of these, under the blankets, or boil them in vinegar and sea onions and sprinkle the bed with it. Yuck, my bed smells like all this junk. You should, to prevent breeding of fleas, the chamber should be frequently washed. Duh. And the windows should be constantly open and the bedclothes frequently exposed to the air. I don't even want to talk about lice. Next. Next. Nope.
Some of these bugs are just a little too much.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Let's talk about tea. Caterpillars. Rub tar around the bottom of your tree and no, wait. Not just rub tar around the bottom of your trees. Then put a number of, this is for caterpillars. Then put a number of ants in a bag and hang them so that they may touch the body of the tree. And the tar will prevent the ants from getting down, and they will devour the caterpillars for want of food. Okay.
All right. We always just squished our caterpillars.
All we need is a bag of ants. You just go to the store, you get I need a 5-pound bag of ants, please.
It feels like a children's story, right? Where you cause more.
That'll be $5.
You wanted a 5-pound bag? I only have a 3-pound bag of ants.
It's the store owner's hack to get rid of the ants.
Green bugs in the garden, how to destroy them. Insects hurtful to fly. Now here we go. So there's a whole section here on frogs and toads. Now,
okay, frogs and toads aren't as cute as hedgehogs, but also I don't know why someone would be, I don't know what harm they'd do.
Right, why do you, the proper time for killing them is in February.
But why?
It doesn't say why.
And I didn't even see that, because there was a list earlier because the tutors earlier on had made a vermin list, and it had, I think, even a fuller list than these had. And some of those dropped off. But I don't remember seeing any frogs or toads on that list.
Now maybe if you've got poisonous toads, like you have an outbreak of poison toads, okay, I get that. Spiders, flies, earwigs, snails, grasshoppers, gnats, and hornets, all just sort of lumped together. Not sure why snails are in there with them, but they are. I don't even know why you would. Some of these things I've never even heard of. There's some kind of bug. To destroy flies, hellebore. Okay, good. To destroy wasps and hornets. To destroy grasshoppers, you need wormwood. Yep. Worms. Now, he talks about, like worms. Lots of different kinds of worms. And these are apparently plant worms, probably more like caterpillars. And then there's apple tree worms, so the worms inside of apples, I suppose. And then there's to preserve furniture from worms. Well, not exactly the same thing. And then there's worms in the body.
Method.
Yeah. Gunpowder. And they say there are three sorts of worms. The first two are the kind that kids get, and the third, I think, a tapeworm for adults here. And what's their suggestion here? Take the filings of tin and red coral and pound them together in a very fine powder. And then maybe some wormwood put into that, of which one into a bolus with a conserve, yes, of the tops of sea wormwood. So that's their idea here. I wouldn't suggest that. Nope. And for the other two worms, mercury was way up there on the list. They're using mercury for a lot of different things. I mean, it worked.
Technically.
Just make your body uninhabitable
Right.
for you too.
Right, exactly. Right.
But the bugs won't be happy either.
Yeah. So it's who goes first, I guess, is the thing. Garden beetles, moths. What are they doing with moths? Oh, black pepper. Yeah. So if you want to keep moths out of your stuff, black pepper. You grind it up nice and small. Maybe with some wormwood, or gunpowder. That'll work. And then at the end here, there's a thing about crows and about ravens, buzzards. There we go. So that is vermin. Fun. Well, fun if you don't have them. Reading about it.
You want to give a disclaimer? Don't use any of these methods.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend any of these solutions. Definitely nothing involving mercury for anything.
You could use the lavender. You can put lavender on.
Yeah, if you want to get some wormwood and some lavender, and there is they do mention walnut in here, the walnut hull, which those are known to, keep bad things away.
Everybody that wanted to try the gunpowder method going, oh,
Yeah, yeah, and not the gunpowder either.
Don't use that one for sure.
No mercury, no gunpowder. I mean, it would probably work, okay? I'm saying, but it's not recommended. It's just not. Only for professionals.
Okay, so here's a super chat from Student Style Tony. You gave one odd use for gunpowder. Got any others?
Well, I mean, sometimes they are used for human medicine of one kind or another, but again, not recommended. It will. You can burn all the skin off your face with it. I've done that.
Also, not recommended.
Yeah, again, not recommended. So, yeah, it's useful stuff. Useful stuff.
So this is a super chat from Rotting Maggots. I made cider at home myself, and I would love to watch a cider video while making it, right? So here's another vote for a cider video, but can't drink it because I'll get fat, but it's so good, which I had a hot apple cider today.
Okay. In proportion, right? All these things are good but we have to know when to call it quits. That's the thing. All things in moderation.
So one of the
Name checks out.
Exactly.
One of the nice things I like about cider is it's very seasonal, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you can get it all year round, but now's the perfect time for it.
Yeah, drinking lots of cider isn't probably good for you, but 0 stars, would not recommend.
Okay, so here's the super chat from Flavia Santos. Yay for the 18th and early 19th centuries. Okay.
Super. Thanks for everybody who jumped in and bought some tea and just all these cool mugs that we have, our cool T-shirts, and we're working on some great stuff that's just right around the corner. Great episode coming up that is in kind of the season. We're going to be working on, I believe it's the Apple episode coming out next. So we will be talking about, I'll talk about cider. You'll see a picture of cider, maybe for a second. But we're going to be, we'll be doing a little bit of apple cooking and talking about the apples of the 18th century. And of course, if you've been here on the live stream, we've talked about apples. We have a whole episode on apples. So such a great topic. And important to the 18th century. We walk by apples in the grocery stores like, oh, look, apples, and we just keep on going. Maybe we eat one, we don't think about the importance to apples in different parts of society. Mercury and gunpowder, definitely not recommended. What else? Ryan is at Fort Massac this weekend.
Okay.
You want to find out where Fort Massac is? Mm-hmm. Or the Massac event that's happening? Obviously, I'm not there. But you'll find it. Something else is really important happening, but I can't think of what it is. But wowzers. Did you figure it out?
Yes, I put a link into
there we go.
to the state park.
There we go. I knew it was in Illinois. Yay, my brain was right. So Ryan, sir, if you are in that area and you want to check that out, it'll be a great event. Lots of folks there, and it'll be fun. And you could buy coffee. Not tea, though.
They need to speak.
I'm going to come up with, like, the Green Leopard Tea Company and just set it up right beside him. Anyway, I hope you had a great time in the Nutmeg Tavern today. It's great to invite people in and chat and have fun and talk about the fun things that are happening there. Because, it's more fun to come into the tavern and talk about random 18th century stuff than it is to go and talk about whatever's happening out there in your world today. Which is, guess what? 99% of it doesn't affect you anyway, and you can ignore it. But don't ignore what's happening here in the tavern. That's it. I want to thank everyone for all the incredible support we get. Your amazing comments and encouragement is always welcome. Your suggestions and all that good stuff never goes to waste. Thank you for your support through Patreon and Super Chats and being a member and buying merch, all that stuff. Every single one of those things helps us make one more video. And I want to thank Will there on the machine doing whatever that is, wherever you're at.
Fighting the time vortex.
Fighting the time vortex. And Lauren in the chat. Mm-hmm. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have an amazing, tremendous weekend, and thank you for watching.